Okay, good morning. Wow, yeah, your girl got a new camera. Your girl got a new camera. It was time for an upgrade. You guys like it? This is the Sony ZV1. Let's take it for a trip. Hey guys, I am back from the grocery store. Well, I'm back from the farmer's market and I just wanted to share some of the things that I've got. This drink is one of them. Hello, so I wanted to just do a sit down and talk about some questions that I've been receiving as an incoming medical student, and I also wanted to see how this camera works when I'm just kind of sitting down and talking in front of camera. So it's kind of two birds in one stone. I have about 6 questions on my notes that I'm going to go over today, so stick around. And all of these questions are going to be related to just incoming medical student stuff. I do start medical school next week, so I'm pretty excited about that. I can't believe the time is actually here. I finally moved my things to California, and don't mind if you see any boxes in the back. What if I move? I'm still in the phase of unpacking, and it has been taking longer than I thought it would, but hopefully I can get that done either today or tomorrow. So the first question I get talks about specialty interests, if there's any specialties I'm interested in right now. And I definitely want to go into this experience open-minded and really indulge into everything. But I think that if I had to choose one specialty that really interests me right now, I would have to say dermatology. It would be it. I grew up kind of taking care of my hair, taking care of other people's hair, and I do find skin pretty fascinating as well. Even with the rashes and all that, I find it really interesting to learn. But who knows? The road is still really far. It is the #1 hardest specialty in medicine right now, which is insane, but I could see why that is. And I think it's largely going to depend on, if I can get involved in research in that field and if I can find a mentor in that field. But who knows? You could ask me again in 4 years and I will be a psychiatrist or something. There's so many options in medicine, so I don't really want to pigeon myself too early, but I don't know. I'm very interested to see what I actually end up doing, but if I had to choose, I think it would have to be derm right now. I do. All right, next question that I get is, how will I be paying for medical school? Well, if you guys saw my med school review video, I did mention that my school did offer me a full tuition scholarship, which is so amazing, and I feel so blessed, and sometimes I get teary-eyed when I think about it. But my scholarship does only cover tuition, so when it comes to food and gas and rent and all of that, that's something that I have to pay for myself, and that is all coming from loans. I'm just going to be taking out loans for all of that. Your school has a certain amount that they budget for what they think that money should be, what your cost of living should be. So I'm kind of just sticking within that range. I'm not taking the whole thing out. My initial plan was to take the whole cost of living range out, but then I decided to take a little bit less and see how that goes. And if I find that I need more next year, then I'll get more next year. Also, I did find out that medical students do qualify for SNAP, which used to be called EBT. So I'm definitely going to look into applying for that so that I can cover my groceries, because if I can get my groceries covered, y'all, if I can get my groceries covered, that would be amazing. That would literally be so amazing. So, you know, if it's something that I can qualify for, then I will definitely be looking into it. My next question that I get is, what are my fears? I definitely have a lot of fears going into this journey. You know, it's something completely different going to medical school. It's like something that scares a lot of people. Also, I'm in like the other side of the country, so I'm so much further away from my family, which, you know, can be a little scary sometimes. But I think if I had to narrow it down to like one thing that I'm kind of fearing entering this journey is, I guess, losing track of myself, losing track of the things that keep me whole. Like, I love traveling, I love to play volleyball, I love to go out to eat and try new food spots. I love to hang out with friends sometimes when I'm not being a social loner. And I just want to make sure that I can keep going with those things that make me happy, and I'm not just consistently always in my books all the time. I actually talked to a medical student who just finished up his first year recently, and he told me that he would study on average like 15, 16 hours a day. 15, 16 hours a day. Like, there's only 8 more hours left. And what is he doing those 8 hours? He's sleeping. So I'm like, he literally wakes up and just studies the entire day. I think that is just so insane to me. I don't think that has to be the only way you go into this journey. So maybe starting out, that's something I might have to do, is study for that length of time. But I hope that I can really figure things out quickly, like figure out how like my teachers are teaching, figure out what kind of learner I am, figure out how I can best succeed quick so that I can really like focus on also doing things that, you know, fill my cup, because this is going to be a really long journey and I don't want to crash or burn out way earlier than I need to. So I think that's just that would definitely be one of my fears, is just like losing track of myself and not really giving to myself as much as I should, because sis, like, how am I going to be taking care of other people if I'm not going to be able to take care of myself? And that's scary. That's scary. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And it's good to like talk about your fears and what you fear, because I think just knowing that that's something I'm scared of, I can go into this journey a little bit more cautious and knowing that like, hey, like we already talked about this. So if you got to take that break and go play some volleyball, or you need to take that break and go out to eat, take that break. Because we already know going into this that this is something that you talked about fearing. So yeah, I'm very excited overall, but you know, we're definitely going to see how it goes. And, you know, hold me accountable. If you see me slipping, if you see me not feeding myself, and, you know, if you see me not, you know, going into my hobbies, then say something in the comments. I beg. So the next question I get is, what is my number one goal for the first year? I think my number one goal for the first year is to ask all the dumb questions. Like, I want to ask all the questions. I don't want to be afraid to like ask a question in class. Like, if my teacher's saying something and it doesn't make any sense, like, I'm going to office hours, I'm gonna be like, yo, how are you? I didn't understand this. Because that is something that I think that's what really transformed my learning in undergrad, was when I would go to my teacher's office hours and spend that extra time really trying to understand a subject. So I think that with medical school, it can create that kind of like, not fear, but like you feel almost weird asking a question, because you're like, oh, everyone probably knows what's going on because everyone around me is so smart. But I'm just gonna be fully honest with myself and make sure to be in constant communication with the professor. So if I gotta do office hours, if I gotta send emails, if I gotta be the one raising my hand, asking questions all the time, that I want to be that girl. I would definitely want to be that girl, because to not know an answer, like, it could really cost me in the long run. Like, people's health depends on me, people's lives depend on me. So if I need to just like, I don't know, check my pride at the door and, you know, humble myself a little bit and just admit when I don't know anything, then that's what I have to do. So my goal for the first year is asking all the questions, ask all the dumb questions, make sure I know all my professors very well, you know, so, cause like, if I don't know the answer, you gonna know I don't know the answer. And that's on period. Next thing I get is about my relationship. So yeah, I am dating my boyfriend Nelson. We've been dating for about a year and a half, and he actually took that plunge and came to California with me, which is so exciting. I'm really excited for the both of us. It's interesting because before he even met me, when we were both in college, like he always had a plan to want to move to California for like reasons of his own, which I don't really know, but so it actually ended up being a huge coincidence that, you know, we met in college. He stuck with me while studying for the MCAT and while interviewing at all these different schools, and then ultimately getting into a California school. So it's like he kind of manifested this for himself and for me, and it just like became a perfect opportunity for him to also, you know, come out here and experience this with me. He is a student right now. He's doing his master's, and he is like in the computer IT tech field, which, you know, you can find jobs online for that. So I don't know, there's nothing really that was keeping him in Maryland. And you know, I just think it's like a good opportunity to have a new experience and just kind of step out of your comfort zone, leave your hometown. And I'm really excited that he's here with me. He was such an amazing support system to me when I was applying to medical school and taking the MCAT. Like, this guy would literally meal prep foods for me, drive me to work. You know, he bought me like a little candle thing when I would get interviews, and so that I would blow them out when I got an interview. And he was just, I don't know, he was such an incredible, amazing support system. So I'm really excited for him to be here with me, and I'm really excited to see like what he gets into, because even though this is like a personal journey for me entering medicine, like he's kind of entering his own journey away from home and away from what he knows as well. So I don't know, I'm just really excited to grow together and see what that is like. But yeah, he's cool. He's cool. He's a keeper. I think, you know, I think I'll keep him. But yeah, that is my boo Nelson. You probably see him a lot in my videos now because he's, you know, he's who I live with. You know, he's who I live with. He's my best friend. He's my boyfriend. So yeah, that's my spiel on him. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to talk about is advice. So advice to any pre-med students applying to medical school, students in this journey, I guess a step before me in this journey. And I think my number one advice that is kind of amazing, or has been, that I'm reaping the benefits of right now, is to save money. And if you're taking a gap year or you're still in school and you have like a part-time job, I think it has been so incredibly helpful for me that I saved money before coming here. Oh my gosh, because there's so many different little fees that I never really thought of. Like, for example, we need to get a trash can for the kitchen, and they've been ranging for like $60. Like, I had no idea trash cans were that expensive, but that's just like a cost that I never even thought about. But luckily for me, like during my gap year, I made a goal that I wanted to save like at least like one semester's worth of rent. Like one semester's worth of rent. And then once I knocked out that goal, then I wanted to save up for a whole year's worth of rent. And I think that when you want to save, like, make sure it's for rent. Like, I put that money in a completely separate account that I can touch if I want to, but I really, really do not want to touch, so that like it doesn't matter what happens when I'm here, like what happens with my loans, if they don't come in time, or if they're, you know, whatever, or if I gotta sleep on a carpet because I can't afford a bed right now. Like, it doesn't matter what is happening in this journey, but one thing that is guaranteed is the fact that I have rent paid for this amount of time. So anything else, it don't matter. I'll figure it out along the way. But as long as I can guarantee that I have a place to sleep for at least a semester without any trouble, without any worry, like, that gives me so much peace. I've had so much peace because I've been spending a lot of money, you know, trying to furnish my place and stuff, but none of that money is coming from rent. So I don't have to do that calculation. That's like, okay, if I spend this, I still have this amount to save for this amount of months. Like, no, keep your rent account completely separate than your normal spending account or your savings account, because when it comes down to it, you need a place to sleep. You know, like, And that's the key. So my number one advice is to save. Make a goal to save at least one semester's worth of rent before moving here. And then once you do have that goal, put it in a completely separate account and then keep going. You know, you don't have to just stop at one semester. If you can do two, you know, if you got it like that and you are willing to live a little bit frugal, then do it. And I know that it can be hard for some people. It was really hard for me. It was actually one of the reasons why I had to quit my first job as a medical assistant. Like they were literally just paying me enough to live. Like I wasn't getting paid enough money to save. So once I quit that job and got another job that paid me like $4 or $5 more an hour, I was able to take that difference and like start saving that. And that's how I was able to build a savings and build a rent account that is going to be it's already been very useful for me while I'm here. So yeah, that's kind of like my little thoughts on that. That's how I've been feeling, my fears, my excitements, my goals, my advice, and I'm really excited to start this journey. Next week is orientation, so it's not like, you know, I'm actually in class, but just kind of getting a feel of everything, just a whole welcome thing. So definitely stick around for next week's video where I do a vlog of my med school orientation. Man, it's just like so crazy when you see your dreams and your prayers and your hopes come true. And yeah, I'm very excited for this journey. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment down below, you know, leave me some well wishes if you want. I love me some self-affirmations, so definitely drop those down below, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.